Welcome to Compai's Expat channel. I'm Compai. I am Sosua's voice of reason. Yes, the thumbnail is correct. So before
Casa De Compai, your place to stay. Right in Sosua, steps away. Pool beach and good sunshine. Condos chill and the vibe's just fine. And on the channel we keep it real. Sosua life with tropical feel. Casa De Compai, don't just scroll by. Come stay and click subscribe.
correct. So before I get into the video, a buddy of mine told me his story on how he got scoped here in Sosua. All right, so let me get into this. Let me first off say that I will not say who got scoped in Sosua because he is a personal friend of mine for 7 years. Known him very well, and that's important to this story because he's not somebody who's just talking smack, somebody who wants attention. In fact, he said, listen, don't tell my name. Keep this private. Keep this personal. I don't want this out. But he just told me this 2 days ago when we were sitting in the afternoon. I happened to run into him at one of my favorite watering holes after work. And he said, hey, man, guess what happened to me 2.5 months ago? It was back towards the end of February. So he tells me the story, which I'm going to relate to you. But I want to back up. What is scopolamine? Well, scopolamine comes from a plant. And scopolamine is very, very common in Colombia because especially the city of Medellin, because it grows in the mountains around Medellin. And this is an epidemic that's going on in Colombia right now. So basically, it's the trumpet plant. That's what we call it in English. There's also a Spanish name for it, obviously. And what they do is from this plant, they make a substance, whether it's powder, liquid, that they use to have their victims ingest this plant. And it's very common in Colombia. Let me show you some more pictures of the plant. Beautiful plant. Very pretty. Very pretty. So this is what the plant looks like. So what the criminal elements are doing is they're making a drug out of this plant. And what the plant does, it basically turns you into a zombie. They also call it devil's breath. There's been stories of guys who had enough of it in their system to where it didn't put them to sleep, but it makes them suggestive to people's intentions. Like, hey, go open your safe. Oh, you got a Mac card. Let's go to the bank and you're going to Mac me out all your money. Or, hey, you got a crypto app on your phone. Send all your cryptocurrency to this wallet. So it makes people extremely, extremely suggestive. So also, what I also dug up is this article that I dug up. And I'm going to put this up on I don't know if you guys can read it, but I will read it as well. And I will also post the link to this article down below. It says, Devil Breath in the Criminal Underworld. Within the realm of criminal activities, devil's breath has been acquired as a sinister reputation for its alarming applications in the manipulation and coercion. Criminals often exploit the potential effects of devil's breath, scopolamine, to incapacitate their victims. Now, I had a guy that would stay at Casa De Compai a long time. He would be in and out. And he actually lost his life in Colombia. Now, I don't know exactly what happened to him in Medellin, but I do know when he would rent from me, he would always make sure, John, is there an outlet by the bed? Because I need to hook up my CPAP machine because I have sleep apnea. So what I personally believe what happened to this gentleman, And great guy, man. He would help everybody out who would go to Medellin. He was just top notch. And if I said the name, everybody who comes to so often would know exactly who I'm talking about. But I believe when they scoped him, he obviously didn't have his sleep machine on, and his restricted breathing because of sleep apnea, it just killed him. So that's what I believe happened to him. So a lot of guys, unfortunately, are getting scoped in Colombia. And I just saw on another YouTube channel where they're even doing it to women. I also saw on another YouTube channel where they're doing it in Santo Domingo. So I'm going to get more into that into the video after I tell the story and my opinions on what's going to happen. So here's the article that I'm reading. It says, the drug's colorless, odorless, and tasteless property make it an ideal tool for discreet administration, allowing criminals to subdue people without their knowledge. Once under the influence of scopolamine, victims enter a very vulnerable state. Now, let me get into this. I know guys, and the reason that I know because I own a condo complex here. Guys come in and, we talk. And they're like, I always ask, hey, where else do you go? What do you look for when you stay? Just some insight onto what my customers want in their apartments. And they're like, yeah, well, they always say Medellin, Cartagena. And then it always leads to the conversation of the drugging's not going on. And some of these guys are pretty open and like, yeah, it happened to me. I made sure I didn't eat anything. I didn't drink anything. But when I was with the chica and I kissed certain body parts of her, that's when I feel I got scoped. So they're able to put it in your drink, either in liquid form or powder, and they're able to actually put it on themselves. So you can ingest it that way. So they're real clever on how they're administering this drug to you. It's not only it not only facilitates the execution of criminal acts, but it also complicates the investigations, as victims may struggle to provide coherent accounts of their explanation. Law enforcement agencies in Colombia and other countries are challenged by the scopolamine the facilitated crimes and difficulty detecting the drug, coupled with its potent effects that can cause difficulties in catching criminals. So, guys, it's really hard for them to detect if you were scoped. Now, obviously, the side effects they can tell right away. A lot of guys sleep for days. Some guys never wake up. Some guys don't remember what happened. So then they get it's becoming an epidemic in Medellin. A lot of guys don't want to talk about it. A lot of guys are getting picked up, picking up girls off of Tinder, and this is where the problem's happening. Now, I can't really go into too much in depth about what's going on in Medellin because I'm not a Medellin guy. This is my home in Sosua. This is where I stay. This is it, But let's talk about my buddy who got scoped down here in Sosua. Now, is he 100% sure that's what happened? No, he's not 100% sure, but he's extremely, extremely, extremely confident this is what happened to him. And here's the thing, that it took him a while for him to realize what happened because, A, he's not a YouTube guy. He's not watching YouTube, so he's not in tune what's going on in Medellin. He's never seen it happen down here before. So it wasn't until after the fact when he started talking to his buddies that they're like, hey, this is what we think would happen to you. Now, he was at a bar downtown Sosua. It was a corner bar right in the middle of town. And he said, John, I was in that bar and I saw one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in Sosua. So my next question was, give me a time frame. So he goes, John, it was around the end of February, between the middle and the end of February, which puts it right around Super Bowl, okay? So what happens in Super Bowl weekend? A lot of pretty girls come in from other countries. So, and these girls just don't come in for that weekend. They come in for weeks. They're going to make the trip. They're going to make it worthwhile. So, and I said, wow, that's funny. The bar you were drinking at one of my favorite places to get a bite to eat after I've been drinking is the pizza place above it. Best pizza in town. So I said, it's funny because I was in there getting pizza and I saw 3 or 4 Colombian girls that were just stunning, absolutely beautiful. And I was like, wow, more Colombians are coming into town now. Because back in the day, we used to get a lot of Colombians. We used to get a lot of Venezuelans. And then it kind of died out. I was kind of wondering if they're coming back to town. And these girls were stunning. So I said to him, was she about 5'9", built like a brick shithouse, long black hair, almost down to her ass? And he goes, holy shit, John, that was her. So I said, dude, she was Colombian because she did not look like she was Dominican. Even though you get some light-skinned Dominicans coming out of La Vega, Santiago, she was Colombian because I was talking to her. And her friends were equally as pretty. So he said, yeah, I know I had a couple of drinks in me, and I took her back home. And I don't remember what happened after we got home. I remember getting at home. I remember us dancing in my bedroom, and I remember falling on my glass table and breaking my glass table. I won't go into, his personal detail, what he lost, but she took advantage of the situation. Then he says, I saw her again. And he says, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I didn't think I was drugged. So I just thought it was just too much alcohol, and I just overdid it. So they met up again. And he didn't take her back to his house this time, but the second time he says, I just didn't feel right again. I kind of excused myself and I left, but going home, I crashed my car. And it cost me $2,000 in damage. Thank God I didn't kill myself or anybody else. And it took me 3 days, John, to get over this. I was just not myself. So, and he says that was the second time. So, and they were about a week and a half apart. And he says, but here's the crazy thing. Deep cleaning my bedroom where they were dancing, where he broke the glass table, I had a sofa in there. And I moved out the sofa and I found this little vial, like an eyedropper vial. And he goes, what do you think that was? And I said, that's probably where she had the liquid that drugged you. And he goes, I didn't realize until later that she really robbed me because it's my home. I have things everywhere. Granted, she didn't get a lot of money other than what was in my wallet, but I thought we just spent it. And I had to, I gave her money anyway. So I just lost track of how much money there was. Because he lives here permanently, so he has bank accounts here. So he's not a tourist where he had, a couple hundreds of dollars in his safe. So things were just a little different for him where he had his stuff in the bank. He said she didn't get into the safe because she couldn't find the key. And I was out of it where she couldn't, where we know now she couldn't ask him. But that's what happened to him. So there's no doubt in my mind for him to take days to recover, where he crashed his car this second time, where he lost the ability to physically function correctly. He got scoped, no doubt about it. And the crazy thing is, I can't say for sure if it was the same girls that I was talking to when I saw them, but it makes sense that Colombians are doing it because there's also a report of Colombians in Santo Domingo doing the same thing. And I did a couple videos about a year and a half ago, and I said, if this gets out, the local Dominicans will not put up with this because they're real touchy on what happens in their neck of the woods with their tourist market. The Dominicans will police their own on this. And if you ever know anything about Dominican mob street justice, guys, it's real. They will take things into their own hands, and the girls will wish that they were in the police. I mean, let's be frank. The girls ain't too crazy about the Colombians coming down here because they think they're prettier. They don't like their hair. There's a lot of jealousy when it comes to the foreign women coming down here to do what the Dominicans consider business in their town. So there's a lot more that goes into it. But I hope this was just a one-off. I hope this isn't the start of something. But it makes sense. I mean, the heat's on in Colombia. If they're going to do it, they're going to go outside their country. And I believe there was a Colombian who was arrested coming out of, was it Antigua? One of the southern Caribbean islands. And she got caught with scopolamine on her as well. And she got arrested and sent back to Colombia. So, guys, just a heads up. You know, in Sosua, I've never felt that I was in danger. I've never had an incident that made me think twice about my decision to come here. But when you get these Colombians are coming in and start doing this, that changes things drastically. So, guys, take it for what it's worth. I believe the story my friend told me is 100% accurate. He's not the guy that needs to embellish everything. In fact, it's the exact opposite. He wants nobody to know. So be on your P's and Q's. Keep your wits about you. Keep your head on a swivel. And always remember, keep personal private and private personal. And I say that because you do not want to be flashy. You don't want to wear the gold chains. You don't want to go out with tons of money. You sure as hell don't want to be that guy making it rain in Bar Central. I can tell you. And the reason I said that, I've told guys to knock the hell off who were making it rain in Bar Central. Same two guys, Americans. They did it a couple of times and they got thrown out. But you don't want to be doing stuff like that, guys. You know, low key. You don't want to look rich. You want to look poor. So with that being said, guys, give me a like, subscribe, great comments on my viewership. Keep the comments coming. And remember, keep private personal and personal private. Peace out.